Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Welcome back to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I'm Carrie Dahle, your host, and today we're going to delve into a topic that touches every one of us, and that is the pursuit of perfection and why it's time to let it go and embrace all of our imperfections instead. So let's start with getting a little real about perfection. It is a standard that so many of us chase. I have done it my entire life. And whether it's our jobs or our personal lives or our hobbies, we often get stuck in this wanting it to be perfect. But here's the kicker. Perfection is seriously a myth. It doesn't exist. And chasing it, well, that can leave us feeling exhausted, inadequate, and frankly, a bit miserable. I'm really having to work on this one right now. It is a huge struggle for me to not have everything perfect all the time. I like my house to look a certain way. I like to look a certain way. I like my job done a certain way. I like everything a certain way, right? And it's this, in my mind, perfect. It's this this perfect standard that I have put on things. No one else has, but I have done it. And unfortunately, I think that can leave us in a bad space, especially when it's not quote unquote perfect. It creates all kinds of emotion for disappointment, right? It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel less than. And we are all more than enough. We are all great just the way we are. Doesn't matter how our house looks, doesn't matter how our job is, doesn't matter how imperfect everything appears, because that's the way it should be. So let's flip the script today and let's talk about the beauty and the freedom in embracing our imperfections. I want you to think about the last time you were hard on yourself for making a mistake or not meeting a so-called perfect standard. I can tell you that whole idea of perfection that I have held on to and that I've made the mistake of wanting to have a perfect standard for was writing a book. And so for me, it was, and sometimes still is, a feeling of disappointment in myself, an insecurity. It makes me feel inadequate and honestly bad. And that's not the goal here. The goal for me is to be excited about it. The goal for me is to write this book that's on my heart. And so I really, really had to work through that with the chapter I'm doing in the small business book that's coming out in October. And let me just say, I did it. I let go of that imperfection and it felt amazing. Amazing. So thinking back to you and that last time or that continued mistake of wanting something to be perfect, how did it make you feel? Did you feel disappointment? Did you feel anger? Did you feel sadness? Did you feel inadequacy? What did you feel? Now imagine what it would have been like if you had simply just accepted it how it was and maybe even laughed it off a little for not being perfect. Or imagine if you had opened yourself up in a way that is truly authentic, right? And you opened yourself up in a way that allows the embarrassment, that allows the not so pretty moments. What happens if you do that? How would you then be bettering yourself? How would you then be bettering other people? That's a question I ask myself every day. And I'm working so hard on that. because there is such power in embracing our imperfections. So there, in my mind, are many benefits to embracing imperfection. For starters, it takes a whole lot of pressure off of you. It allows you to be more authentic, more creative, and yes, even more successful. Because when we're not wasting energy pretending or hiding our true selves, we are moving forward on everything that we're dreaming of. Which isn't that the whole point of Thrive Mindset? Isn't it to manifest your dreams and achieve your goals? And let's talk about how we can start to embrace that. How we can start to embrace our imperfections. Well, first, let's celebrate our little quirks. Think about the things that make you just you. Do you sing off key? Do you have crazy dance moves? Are you a little nerdy and love spreadsheets? What is it that makes you you? These are the things that you want to celebrate, not hide. I mean, what are my quirks? Mine are, I'm a bit superstitious. I think that everything comes in threes. I would never go underneath the ladder, standing underneath the ladder, or walk underneath the ladder. When I spill salt, I throw it over my shoulder. I knock on wood. What else? I love taking a summer walk in the rain. I talk to myself all the time. I talk to my dog. I talk to my plants. I talk to the flowers. I talk to the hummingbirds. I just talk. When I'm flying with my husband, I have to remember to put the mic up above my head on the headset because I enjoy listening to music, which then means I'm sitting there singing because that's what I would do in the car. And it becomes a little bit like karaoke in the airplane, which can be humorous, especially if my husband's trying to talk to air control. These are just some random quirks, little things about me that make me, right? And that I should celebrate and not hide. Another way to embrace imperfection is by seeing mistakes as opportunity. Every misstep gives us a chance to learn and grow instead of beating yourselves up. Ask yourself, when you make a mistake, what can I learn from this? What did it teach me? How can I do it better next time? How can I use that to move myself forward? Because I promise every mistake really is not a mistake. It's just a misstep. And it's also teaching you something. And if you look at it that way, it can really be exciting because you can see the progress you make then. You could see what things you need to change in order to do better. Next, I want to talk about setting realistic expectations. Part of embracing imperfection is setting realistic expectations. That doesn't mean setting the bar low. It just means setting the bar at a true, honest level so that you're not aiming to fail, you're aiming to succeed in real world, genuinely achievable way. A great example of that is in your gratitude journal. If you have been along this ride with me for any time, you know that I love a gratitude journal, that I have a gratitude journal that's out there for you guys to use. And part of that has a space for you to write down the 10 things that you are manifesting every single day. And the very first time that I really recognized the control I had over what I was manifesting, it showed up in work. And it showed up because I was writing down my first year returning to real estate that I would help 10 families buy and sell their homes that year. Now, in your first year, after not doing it for quite a while, in my mind, that felt super lofty. It wasn't quite one a month, but it was, pretty darn close. And I said it because at the time I thought it was a goal that was, going to push me. I didn't realize that it was low, but once I realized that I was going to hit that goal and actually exceed it, then I started upping it, right? And I started making that change. So my whole point is that when you set realistic expectations, when you set realistic goals, you're going to more likely believe in it, which then means you're going to more likely feel like you can do it and achieve it, and you're going to be working hard for it. Whereas when you set something so high and so unrealistic, the moment you start to feel that's so far out of reach, then you're kind of defeating the whole purpose. You're taking your energy to a vibration that's not going to achieve it. You are setting yourself up for disappointment. So really, really think about the things you are doing in this world and think about making sure that it's a realistic goal. You can always adjust and make it higher later. You can always stretch yourself too. Just make it realistic. So let's do a little quick exercise. Think of the goal that you've set for yourself recently. Is it realistically achievable? Or are you setting yourself up for struggle with perfection? And once you've thought about that, consider adjusting the goal to reflect a balance of both challenge and actual attainability. Because I know you can find it. You just have to take a minute and really think about that balance. Next, I want to talk about the role of self-compassion. One of the most important aspects of embracing imperfection is practicing self-compassion. You need to be kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, instead of jumping to criticism, try offering yourself some kindness. Speak to yourself like you would speak to your child or to your best friend. In fact, here's a little tip. The next time you find yourself spiraling into that self-criticism because you aren't perfect, pause, take a deep breath, replace those critical thoughts with compassionate ones. And it might feel really awkward at first, but it gets easier with each practice. Just keep doing it over and over. The more you can replace those critical thoughts with compassionate ones, the better off you'll be. It's just like the practice of replacing your negative thoughts with positive ones. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember that life isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. And being real opens us up to a world of happiness, creativity, and connection that perfection simply can't offer. So go out there and embrace your perfectly imperfect self. Thrive in your authenticity and watch how much richer your life becomes. Thank you for listening to the Thrive Mindset podcast. Again, I'm Carrie Dahle, and I hope that you like this episode, that you learned something. Please like it, share it, subscribe, all the things, and let me know how I can help you to keep thriving. Let me know what needs you have. And until next time, remember that I believe in you and you can manifest the life of your dreams.